Hi, class. Welcome to unit week 5. Sorry about that. This week we're going to talk about the nervous system, the senses. We're going to talk about the eye and the ear, and we're going to talk about the endocrine system. So first we'll talk briefly about the nervous system. So the nervous system's function is for sensation, interpreting, and acting. That is accomplished from two areas. One is the central nervous system, which consists of the brain and the spinal cord. Your term for brain is encephalo, and the term for the spinal cord is myelin. Then you have your peripheral nervous system, which consists of the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. Now, information passes back and forth between those nerves. They're all working together. So you have afferent, which is your sensory, I feel it. Efferent, which is motor, what do I act? How do I do that particular situation? And then sonomic is an automatic reaction. So also in the automatic nervous system, under the peripheral nervous system, you have your sympathetic and you have your parasympathetic. Your parasympathetic is more like your fight or flight. So in a case where you're, say you get pulled over by the police, you start sweating, you get nervous, that's an automatic reaction. That happens in your parasympathetic system. You also have nerves, okay? Those nerves, the nerve cells themselves, they're called neurons or neural, which is going to be your term for those cells. Now we'll move on to the senses, okay? So your eye and your ear. So the functions of your eye are for vision, or your term would be optic or opt. Hearing, it would be audio or occlusion. And those terms can be used as combining terms. Okay, so whenever you're combining a certain, say if you have penia, which is pain, so it could be eye pain. So you would use that term optic pain with optopenia, which means you would have eye pain. So the areas of the eye, you have the orbit, the eyebrows, the eyelids, the papillary fissure, and conjunctive. Your term for conjunctive, it would be conjuncti or conjuncto. The eyelids are called belphara or peripher. Those are the areas that are most important when it comes down to your eye. Just to get a little bit more in detail with it a little bit, your eyebrows mark the area that's around the orbit, or it's called supraoreal. So supra means above or superior to everything. It keeps the sun out and protects the eyes for anything getting into your eyes. That's what your eyelids are there for. You have the corner of your eyes. The corner of your eyes. Also, that allows your eyes for your vision, for it to be close or around. So you know your eyes come and then they get close. So that allows that area for you to be able to see out those eyes. Just a little term about that. There's a thin mucous membrane that coats the eye on the anterior first surface of the eyeball. That and the eyelid is called conjunctive. That's when you say conjunctive. A person has conjunctivitis. Itis means what? Inflammation. So that means they have inflammation in the conjunctive. Next, we'll talk about the ear. Okay, the ear has a few parts. You have the outer ear. You have the middle ear. You have the inner ear, which is called the labyrinth or the labyrinth. And the mastoid process. Those are the three parts that the eye is divided into. Not very much on the eye, on the ear, not very much on the ear. Basically, your ear is a hole, and you have a canal in there, and you have the eardrum, and that's how you're able to hear. So sounds typically come through the outer ear, then into the middle ear, then the labyrinth area, which actually your eardrum is. And then you have the mastoid process that actually helps process any kind of information that you receive. Next area you have is your system. You have is your endocrine system. So the main function of your endocrine system is for your hormones or your chemical messengers. It lets the body know what's going on. We talked in our first week about homeostasis, And that's one thing your endocrine system is involved in, more homeostasis than anything. So when you talk about endocrine, the endocrine secretes hormones that acts to specific cells, or what they call target cells. Those terms are specifically called receptor sites. The hormones target the cells similar to a lock and key. So both are necessary in hormones for there to react. Now, in your endocrine system, you have several glands that help facilitate, and I'm going to go over those real quick, and I'll go over some of the terms that are related to that. So the first you have is your pituitary gland. Okay, pituitary gland is a tiny gland located behind the optic nerve in the cranial cavity. It's considered the master gland because it controls mostly all of the other glands in the endocrine system. So that's why it's been, and being the fact that it's in the brain, that tells you right there in itself that it is the controlling factor. The next gland you have is your thyroid gland. It's responsible for your metabolism, for normal growth and your development. The term for thyroid gland is thyroid, so that'll be your prefix or your suffix, most of prefix and suffix. Then you have your parathyroid gland, or your parathyroid, that's the term. The parathyroids are small, about 4 glands that are located in the posterior area of the thyroid gland behind the neck. It secretes the parathyroid hormone PTH, which is responsible for lowering the level of calcium inside your blood. The next area you have is your adrenal gland, okay? And the term for it is adrene, ADREN/O. It could be, you can keep it or remove it. Remember, when you adding those terms together, get rid of one of the vowels. The adrenal gland is also is paired with the glands that are located in the top of the kidney. The next you have is your pancreas. The pancreas is located in the inferior, right below and posterior behind the stomach. Its function is to release the digestive enzymes through the duct inside the small intestine. So remember, when your food gets into the stomach, then it goes into the small intestines. The pancreas is responsible for releasing those enzymes and make sure to get all the nutrients that are left inside the system, inside the small intestines, to pass throughout the body itself. The next you have your thymus gland, or the term would be thyma. The thymus gland is located in the masum above the heart. It releases the hormone thymosin, which is responsible for stimulating the key cells in your immune system. Okay. Next, you have your ovaries and your testes. Your ovaries and your testes are the female and male gonads. We're not going to go into much detail this week about it, because next week we're going to go more detail, because we're going to cover the male and female reproductive system in its entirety next week. Okay. The next you have your pineal gland. The pineal gland is located in the center of the brain. Its function is to secrete the hormone melatonin, which is responsible for you going to sleep. So if you have a lot of people that have sleep apnea or can't sleep for whatever reason, then you always heard the term that will take some melatonin. Well, that means their melatonin levels are pretty low, so they need to take those to increase it, so they're able to go to sleep. And that's it for those areas for this week. I want to finish up finally and just let you know, remember about your format, your assignment formats, how they need to be put in. Make sure you use the worksheet that's provided. Fill in your terms, and hint, remember the answers for those assignments are in the back of the book. So you have to open up the book in order to get the answers for those assignments. So basically, you're just transferring those assignments onto the worksheet, save that worksheet, and submit it. Remember your discussion, your primary post is due by Wednesday, and your response posts are due by Sunday. Format, as I said, make sure that you ask an open-ended question to engage your classmates, and make sure that your response to your classmates is substantive, not just a few words, because you're not going to get it. You're going to miss a lot of points if you just say I agree or whatever. And I posted a discussion hints announcement in there too, so you'll know exactly what we're looking for. This week's quiz is going to cover chapters 12, 13, and 14. Remember, tutoring sessions are happening. You have the schedule for the tutoring session. I have posted them in the announcements. And as the recordings come, I will post them again, announcements, so you can go back and review at your leisure. Please note the late policy that's in place. And remember, my office hours are going to be Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. If you guys have any questions, keep emailing me through Canvas. Send me a message through Canvas. I'll respond back to you as quick as possible. Everyone have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Take care.